What's up, everybody? I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, but that's self-explanatory. Obviously, NBA 2K27 is right around the corner, and the team has decided, it's best that we just wait till the end to get it going again. My thoughts about NBA 2K26 or I felt like it was better than 25, but it's a lot of stuff about the gameplay itself I didn't like. I think the builder was cool. Far too many cap breakers. I mean, just is what it is. But nonetheless, this is our annual build recommendation video. And as you can see, it's a lot of builds that 2K pretty much said you can make with all these different great players and legends, things like that. I just want to take this time to say, going into NBA 2K27 is your money. Make whatever you want to make. And I'm going to say that every single year. You're spending however much money on the game. You want to have fun the way you want to have fun. Make whatever you want to make. Play the position you want to play, all that. Me as a point guard, my job is just to try to make it all work. Now, obviously, there is some form of sacrifice that comes into a team setting. Like everybody's not going to be able to do everything. Outside of NBA 2K23, I don't think you can necessarily make the demigod build that can do everything. You can get fairly close with all the cap breakers, but that kind of allows the problem with the way 2K is now. With that being said, the builds I made in the past, I'm not going for those. I'm explaining it in the video what I'm going for, what I'm trying to do, and I'm going to give recommendations as I do every year. With the recommendation itself, though, I do suggest that people actually get on with the team and kind of discuss what you're trying to do, why you think that'll work, and different things like that. Ultimately, you can look at this game and the whole gameplay and landscape might be different next year. Like this year, you could probably get away with like a 85 still. Next year, you might not. You might only need 70 to be able to get a lot of pass lane stuff. That's how it was in 23. And then like in 24, 25, you need like 85 still just to get a plug. Or even with the driving dunks, like you used to be able to get away with 85. Now you need like 90, 92, 93 just to be able to do the stuff you want to do. So gameplay does dictate and things are liable to change. But I mean, you do kind of base things off of last year's game. And you just try to improve as best you can whenever you make a build. Because most people end up making the same build over and over anyway. Just tweaking a couple of things here and there. That's the way it goes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start off with me. So next year, when I create my point guard, I'm actually going to create a point guard instead of a point forward. The only thing I care about is speed with ball. I want to be as fast as possible. So I want to be around 6'6", 215. As fast as I could possibly be. I think for me, I've always sacrificed and made like that point forward so I can rebound. I still was able to score because I can get downhill, but I'm always going to be able to pass the ball. But in a way, I did kind of make it to get more triple doubles. I think it looks good on the stat sheet if you can produce a triple double. But times have changed, and that's going to pretty much be the title of the video. Times have changed, adjust with the time, something like that. So as fast as I can with the ball. I want to be able to shoot the midi very effectively. I want to be able to shoot a three ball very effectively. And I'm still going to be able to get downhill and make those passes. And that's what I'm going for. I don't really care about strength because it hasn't mattered. I've been waiting for it to matter. I don't really need to be able to rebound like that just due to the fact that you're going to get centers with 99 rebound. I need to be as fast as possible. I'm dealing with 99 perimeter, 99 steal. Lock down every goddamn game, regardless if I'm playing rec or even if I'm playing a team that got like 495 perimeter defense people. Like, you got to be able to maneuver. You got to be able to think fast. You got to be able to have something to your game to where you can rely on it. So if I can shoot the midi, you got to guard that. If I can shoot the three ball, it's easy to get downhill. And if I can prove that I can get downhill easy, the three ball is going to be available. So I want to be an all-around player while still giving my teammates involved. Use my cap breakers to get my passing accuracy up and stuff like that. That's what I'm planning to do. All right. So for y'all don't have to worry about me. This is what I'm making. I still be able to play some one-on-one. I still want to be able to play in the park and all those other good things that make 2K fun for me. But it's going to start with me being a build that I think I would be great at. You know, I'm going to be a little bit more selfish. I'm not sacrificing as much anymore, but I think it would be more beneficial to the team. Now, my build is closer to this LaMelo Ball build, but most of the community is going to make either that Stephen Curry or Damian Lillard type build. All right, and a lot of times they even pair them at the 1 and 2. Moving on. So for Blaze or any shooting guard I have on the team, and keep in mind, I already know Blaze, you're not going to be here because you know going to serve the country or whatnot, going to do boot camp or whatever you got going on. You're going to be gone for a few months. If you do get back in time and able to play the game, this is what I'm kind of looking at. And for anybody that's looking to possibly play that position, I know Savage kind of likes this, but at the same time, he likes the lockdown build. We'll go into that. But fairly similar, I would suggest coming down and wait. And there's 2 versions of this I'm going to show at the shooting guard position. A little bit better defense, a little bit less playmaking. Key things I want to take if you're going to play a guard, at least have about an 85 ball handle and an 80 speed with ball. Those are 2 key things. Now, next year it might change, but I seriously doubt it the way the game has been moving. But that 85 is enough ball handle. If you want to cap break it to 90, cool. I suggest using your cap breakers on like more finishing, more defense. Again, I don't think you necessarily need strength. I don't think you necessarily need vertical. Now, if you do go with the 6'8 version I'm going to show and you want to up your vertical because you want to get some of those contact dunks, I understand. But I'm just looking in general. The big thing I want y'all to look at when y'all looking at all these builds when it pops up is the weaknesses tab. As you can see, as this pop up, you see Ray Allen, Bradley Beal, Ronaldo Blackman, and all that. But no big weaknesses to reports. I'm not worried about the strengths. The strengths are self-explanatory. Of course, I want you guys to score. I want you guys to eat as much as possible. And I want to put y'all in position to be the best version that y'all can. But again, I'm going to show y'all like a taller version of this. You can go around 6'8", right? Anywhere from 200 to 210. You know, I used to be very big on being all big and look like an actual NBA player, but the game is not about that. If you want to go 185 because you get more speed, whatever. Do it however you want to do it. But from a 6'8 version to 6'7", 6'8 version of this, it's going to be fairly similar. Like I said, use the cap breakers to kind of up to vertical a little bit more. Focus on finishing with the cap breakers and all that other stuff. But it's going to be fairly similar, be a little bit taller. And again, focus on the weaknesses. The weaknesses right now, say no big weaknesses to report. Now, I didn't sit here and try to make sure that it said that. But you will notice that these type of builds are going to be fairly good at the game. Like Klay Thompson is my typical 2. Most people going to make the T-Mac or the Drazen Petrovic, which I pretty much just showed y'all. Moving on to the small forwards. So Strap. And to a degree, Montage, we're going to touch on it a little bit after, but Strap, Savage, Flex, you will be more in that 2-guard conversation, however you want to do it. We know you're going to master whatever build you make, so just go ahead and do your thing. But for Strap, main lockdown, or even Savage as a lockdown, what you kind of want to go for, in my opinion, if you're going to go for the smaller lockdown, I'll say go around 6'6". You don't want to necessarily be too tall. I doubt we get another game like 2K23 where you can go like a 6'9" or 6'10" lockdown, or even like 2K19 where you can go 6'10" lockdown. I doubt that's coming back. You probably want to be fast. You probably want to have good agility, good perimeter defense, and enough shooting. Now, when it comes to the shooting, you got 2 ways to do it. You can either go high midi to get the shot that you want and just know your timing, which I think that's what most people do. Or you can go high 3-ball, but I think the mid-range is a little bit better. The only reason why I would suggest high 3-ball would be to possibly get deep bomber. if you plan on getting it. But if you don't really care about deep bomber, if most of your shots is going to come on the 3-point line and you rather have more attributes to do other things, high midi, don't need as much playmaking. Now, I do, like, if you're going to be around 6'6", I do suggest that 80 speed with ball. I think it's very important. You don't necessarily need as much ball handling if you're not going to dribble as much. I think 75 is decent, but that 80 speed with ball is important. It allows you to get blur as a possible option. So it allows you to ISO just a little bit. But it's mainly going to be focused on the defense. I do suggest having some blocks, some rebound, so you can help in those categories, in those areas. Rebounding, at least 70-70, that's really good. Make sure your standing dunk is at least 40, so you have the drive and dunk there. And keep in mind, cap breakers, whatever you don't like, you will be able to add to it. I don't think they're going back to pie charts or archetypes because of how much money people are making on these builds. So take each build with a grain of salt, but understand you're going to tailor it however you want to. This is just a template. Now, as you can see for the weaknesses on this 2-way mid-pace scorer, easily knocked off balance, which I don't really see that, but no feel for rebound position, even though you got 70-70. That's pretty good rebounding. It just says you don't really box out to get boards, but you're not going to do that anyway. More than likely, you're going to chase it down and jump. So right here, again, small forward. If you don't like that, this is more like a savage build right here. 6'7", about 225. The wingspan is important, all right? You're either going to go long wingspan to get as much defense as possible, but if not, that's fine. You can shorten a little bit so you can have a little bit more shooting. But at the end of the day, this build is going to be a lot more physical, a lot more strength, able to jump a little bit more, help on the rebounds a little bit more. It's going to be a menace. This is something I see that can play 2 through 4. So as opposed to making a whole bunch of builds, so I know how it goes every year. We're making so many builds and we're tweaking it slightly. If you can get a good build the way you like it and understand where you're going to play within the team based on who you're playing with, you should be fine. This build right here is good enough to play the 4 at 6'7". So when it comes to the whole height thing as far as bigs and stuff like that, I'm not really tripping about you having a 7-footer or necessarily even what your attributes look like at the end of the day, because you as a player get to decide how you want to play. All right? So again, for this build, because he is so big, I could not get that 80 speed with ball. I wish I could. And that's something to keep in mind. You might want to tweak it, come down a little bit and wait to get that 80 speed with ball. But if not, make sure you're able to have some decent passing. You're going to have the midi so you can get the shot that you want. The rebounding is a little bit higher than it was on the other one. You got 80-80. Very solid build. Kawhi Leonard, Julius Erving. And you look at the weaknesses, no big weaknesses to report. You can't get much better than that. So for me, when I'm looking at the small forward, and again, Montage, we're about to touch on you, I'm thinking of Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is very solid, all-around build, but the community is going to make it the Kawhi Leonard, which you just seen, or the one before, Mikal Bridges. That's the lockdown you're typically going to see. Now, getting into Montage, again, this kind of goes into what you want to do, and I kind of know how you've been playing for years. And this is one year I'm really suggesting, of course, you're going to make what you want to make, but I'm suggesting maximizing your skill set. You probably are the most talented scorer that we had. I say scorer, like scorers can shoot, but ability to get to the mid-range, I would love for you to learn how to take that midi fade or the post fade and things like that. Like, just be a little bit more glitchy in the mid-range, because it just, what it does is a lot of times if I got this 99 lockdown on me and I can just throw you the ball and you can go get a bucket in the mid-range, it's going to open up the drive. The three, the catch and shoot threes are still going to be there. And it's a couple of ways you can go about how you want to do it. All right, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can either be a smaller scorer, where, like you said, you can kind of look at that 2-guard, that 6'8" 2-guard that we had, or, like I said, more of a Jason Tatum or something like that. Or you can be a taller scorer more like a Kevin Durant, kind of like what you had this year, more KD, more Michael Beasley, like, and play it that way. My suggestion, though, is to kind of stay at the small forward. Either way you do it. So right here, we're going to go 6'8", 215. The wingspan is enough for you to get 90 mid-range, 93 ball if you want it. And I kind of know how you like to play. You do like to have a little bit more block in your build and things like that. I suggest if you're going to go shorter, score more. All right, it should never be a time where you're on the team and you're not able to give me 20. Score the ball. And like even within score, like just because I'm saying score the ball, I don't want you to ignore your teammates and just mainly try to like if you get the chance to make that easy pass, that opens up scoring even more. It always has. The reason why I average 20-some points per game is not because I'm actually like just trying to go score. It's because I utilize my teammates. If I make a move and I kick it wide open, now the defense got to stay home. It gives me more room to operate. And it's the same thing. If I kick it to you and cut back door on ace and you hit me, now that defender has to back up a little bit more, because he has to respect and help the fact that I can go down there and score. But now when I throw you the ball and he backs up a little bit, now you got more room to operate. And then, like I said, with me having 3 ball in my build now, if the double team comes or if they overhelp, if you can see that pass right away, I'll be able to knock down the shot. So I'm giving more help in allowing you to score even more. So this is the 6'8" version of it. Again, you got that block at least a 70 because I know how you like your build. That's still at 79, very important. Interceptor silver. At least have it silver. I don't think you have to have it OD, but at least have that. As you see, Paul George, Gordon Hayward. And weaknesses, doesn't hold offensive position, no real feel for rebound position. 2 things I'm not really worried about, especially if you're going to go that size. Now, again, the other thing, and this is going to tie into the power forwards as I get into Jamaica. But the other thing is, like I said, stay at this small forward, go 6'10". Go 6'10", about 210 pounds, depending on how you want to do the wingspan. If you want that 93 ball to get deep bomber, cool. But focus more on that midi. I'm telling you, if you can, and this is saying a lot. This particular build, I'm looking at a build that can play some small ball 5. At 6'10", being able to score, small ball 5 still could work with the way we like to play. I'm not overly concerned about rebounding because, honestly, our team just ain't show great individual effort to do so. A lot of times we're leaving people in positions we're not coming back to help. I'd rather get the steal. I'd much rather get the I think stealing in the game is more important than rebounding for the way we like to play. I think rebounding is more important in terms of basketball, but I'm just looking at the team the way we play. This build, I'm telling you, small ball 5. Imagine having Michael Beasley or Kevin Durant at the 5. Like, it just seems like a mismatch. Ain't no center going to be able to guard you. Especially if you, like I said, you can learn how to midi fade, give a move, little go-to move, KD go-to or something like that, knock down them middies. Like, it makes it much harder to try to figure out what we're doing offensively. And it's just something to think about. I don't think you necessarily got to go to the power forward or center position to be able to do this. You can look at it if you feel like you're getting better attributes, by all means, but no, I really feel as though it's important to be able to score the ball the way you like to play because that's your super strength, and then give us enough defense, give us enough rebounding, just give us enough. You don't have to be OD. Your OD thing is scoring. But you give us enough in these other areas, be able to help rebound. And again, you can cap break whatever you want to cap break. So if you feel like you want a little bit more rebound, cap break it. And as you can see, I'm going to give you decent stuff. I think I'm actually going to max out most of your rebounding here anyway. So that's why I say you'll be able, you can hold your own against some 5s. Rebounding is more about position. You can up your badges. So if it's silver, you probably can go to gold or even Hall of Fame. And you just kind of do like, you can fuck around with it as much as you want to and still be a dog. That's the honest to God truth. You just fuck around with it, see what you like, see what you don't like. I know a lot of people are going to spend a lot of time in the builder bullshit. And then you're going to end up making a build you don't like anyway. And then once you start adjusting to the gameplay, you're going to, again, tweak it here, tweak it there. Everybody does that. I do it. I'm guilty of it. And that's just the way shit go. That's just the way shit go. I mean, but I do think this type of small forward could be utilized in so many different ways. And as you can see, no big weaknesses to report, which I was a little bit shocked by, considering the fact of the position you're playing, but you still can play make, you can really score the ball, you can still help rebound, play the passing lanes, block some shots, you know, things like that. I think that's just very important in the way that you like to score in particular. Now, moving on to Jamaica, this is probably like the funnest part, I think, of the entire video for me, just considering the fact that when it comes to Jamaica, he always says he don't want to play center necessarily. I don't think we need a center. I don't. So as 6'9" power forward, if it gives you the ability to still get at least 95 defensive rebound, that's all you really got to be able to do. Like, it's going to be more important for you to play passing lanes. So have more steal. Be able to block a shot. Perimeter defense, you should not have to play OD perimeter defense. You shouldn't. You know, if you learn how to help and hedge, and I know a big part was just being slow. If you're smaller, you're a lot faster. Make sure you have the agility. I think agility is very important. You have some speed. Be able to move out there and be more creative. Obviously, your biggest strengths are playmaking, anticipation, and timing. You pretty much are the player that either we win the game or lose the game based off how you play. Like some games you play aggressive and we blow teams out. Other times you're a little bit passive, a little bit hesitant, which I can see how that happens. Of course, I've had 2 kids. I know what it's like trying to play the game and everybody running around the house and stuff like that. We gotten older over the years. You know, when you guys first started playing 2K, I had no distractions. Now y'all got distractions galore. I understand. I did it. You have to be able to play through distractions. I mean, at an elite level. That's what the best players can do. I'm sorry, like, I'm doing it at point guard, so I have no sympathy for any other position. I think point guard and center are the hardest ones to play. You got to be able to play through those distractions. It's a big part of it. But as you're going through it, what I want you to notice is some things I don't feel like you're going to have to touch. Like, so when you get to the cap breaker standpoint of it, I don't think you necessarily have to use your cap breakers to get what you want to get out of some of these builds. And depending on what your specialty is, some people's specialty is going to be shooting. Some is going to be defense. Mine is going to be playmaking. I can tell y'all that off the bag. I'm not putting it on shooting. Mine is going to be playmaking. I feel like I would have been done with that assist bullshit if I had just stuck with my build from the get. Like, I was killing. I was averaging like 20 assists in the rec at one point. Like, mine is going to be playmaking. So, with that being said, whatever your specialty is going to be a specialty. But keep in mind, like, so let's just say you put rebounding at 93. Yeah, you can use those cap breakers for rebounding and get to 95. However, what if you get like a plus 11 in defense? It would make more sense for you to put it in on that defense and then just use one of your regular cap breakers to up it to 95 on a defensive rebound. Those are things to keep in mind. There is a tool out there, which I will put in the chat when it's time to where you can kind of see where those cap breakers will go, because I think that'll help a lot of people make builds as well. And keep in mind, 2K might actually come out and show the builder able to do that, where you can see where your cap breakers will go. But nonetheless, what I did with this particular build, I made sure you had enough mid-range so you could get the jump shot that you want. Make sure you had enough pass accuracy for the way you like to play. I even gave you 70 speed with ball. Again, you're at the power forward position. That is fat, like pretty fast at that position. You're going to be able to run and dunk. But on the defensive side of the ball, steals, blocks. You need, at least need that interceptor silver. I think that's very important. And then be able to block shots. You just need enough perimeter defense. You do not need to be OD. You're not the primary lock. But the only reason why I'm even putting this up some is so that you can maneuver back and forth. You know, have more agility, have more speed, so that you can move the way you want to move. Your anticipation is very good. I think you can do a great job at hedging and getting back in rebounding position. Not to mention, if you are great at boxing out, then if you look at Savage build, you look at Montage build, they can come help with the boards. And even to an extent, if you look at the shooting guard, I made sure he at least had like 60 rebounds. So like everybody would be able to help in a sense, because it should be a team thing anyway. And again, this is somebody that can play the four. Like if Reggie happens to play and he's playing center, or PG is playing center, which PG, I'm going to get to you in a second, then we'll be able to utilize everybody's build and still play all these different modes. Like this is somebody that could play the 5 in Pro-Am and also turn around and play the big in 3v3 or the big in 2v2. And you're not really giving up much. Again, you can cap break interior defense if you want more of it. You can cap break strength if you want more of it. And it's just up to you how you want to do it. But nonetheless, I don't feel like we had to have a center in order to be great. I think the way our team is proving that we can play, we can outscore most teams anyway. So let's get more steals, more blocks, more deflections. That's where we can win the game. Now, when it comes to the way I look at it, like, again, you look at Montage build, you look at what I just showed Jamaica. Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley is a very powerful forward for the way I like to play. The community is going to make Kevin Durant, Pascal Siakam. Something in that range. Now, for PG or Jamaica or anybody that's thinking about playing center, I personally only care about one thing: rebounding. I know it seems weird because I said all that other shit about it, but if you're going to be a 7-footer, the only thing I care about is like if you get 99 rebounded. So on the offensive side of the ball, every time you in the corner, crash for the offensive board. It should get to a point where I got you in the corner and let's just say me or Montage about to go take a fade or some shit. We can just tell you to go ahead and crash. We're going to shoot this ball. We'll have a pretty good chance to get an offensive rebound, to kick it back out, get a wide open shot, or at least reset the offense. So rebounding, that's going to be the most important thing. Also, if you're going to play center, block some shots. You're not going to be able to have as much steal. I think if you can get it to 60 just to get interceptor, cool. But block some shots, have some interior defense. Again, we're up shooting as much as we can to help, but like, you're not really going to need drive and dunk. You will need stand and dunk. And be as fast and as agile as you can be. Like, have some strength. Like, you're a center. Again, you can cap break rebounding. That's what I'm looking at. Like, you might want to spend your build specialization on rebounding so you can get 99, 99. But, yeah, what else would you really need when you're playing that position? You know, as long as you can grab just about every rebound, you can kick it out on the break. You can control the entire game just by grabbing rebounds. That's the great thing about having a 7-footer. Anything other than that, I mean, you're just a dog at that point, which is cool. But, like, those are the main things. Block some shots, grab some rebounds, set some screens. And honestly, think about it. It's only going to be a couple of type of centers. You're either going to get the good boy build, which is going to be 99 rebound, and they're going to kick it out every single time. Or you're going to have like the Victor Wembanyama. You know, everybody wants to be Victor now. Be a 7'4" that can shoot threes. As long as you can score that way, your size alone will allow you to play some defense. You can go like you make it however you want to make it, but to me, what's important, grab the rebound and like I say, you can cap break the play on the pass accuracy, but if not, try to get as much pass accuracy in your build as possible because that's going to be important. And yeah, that's my recommendation for everybody on the team going into NBA 2K27. Take it with a grain of salt. Like I said, create what you want to make. It's your money. You can't go wrong spending your own money on the shit you want to spend it on. But those are just my suggestions. I do suggest that when the game comes out, we actually get it into a group, into a party like everybody, and we just go over what we kind of want to make. I mean, kind of know what you want to do anyway, but you have this video to reference and you have your own knowledge for NBA 2K26. So again, the community is going to make what they're going to make. I'm looking at Nikola Jokic. That's probably like one of the best builds. Community is going to make Victor Wembanyama, Dwight Howard. I'm out.